Damn. Hey guys, it's Sophie. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video about something that has been very requested. If you watched my IB results video, you'll know that I got a 7 in HL history, and a lot of people have asked me for tips and advice on how to get a 7 as well. So in this video I'm going to be giving 5 tips on how to get a better grade in IB history. And if you haven't seen my IB results video, I'll link it in the description so you can go watch it from there. And yeah. Also, if you don't know what the IB is, it's the International Baccalaureate. It's a high school program and it's an international program. I'm not going to explain what that is in here because that would take up the whole video. But the IB is the high school program that I did, and I got a 7 in history, higher level, and 7 is the best grade you can get. So yeah, but now let's just get into the video. So the first area I'm going to be giving advice in is getting the knowledge that you need on your exams. And there's really not that much to say about this except that you really need to read the books that are prescribed to you more than once if you want to get a 7. We had 5 books. So this was for paper 1, these were for paper 2, and these were for paper 3 because I was in HL. And I'm not even going to lie, like I've probably read these at least 10 times. Or not the paper 3 ones because we finished that really late, but these ones because you have to read your books throughout the IB. So I've been reading these like cover to cover since the IB 1. So when finals came around, I had already read these books many times, so I wasn't relearning the information, but I had already learned the information. It was just about literally just revising it again. You really just need to read a lot of history, do additional research that is not in the books about topics, so that you can go more into depth in your essays. So for example, the IA is a really good example to research more in depth of the topics on your course. So we did Cold War as one of our topics for paper 2. So my IA research question, I can't remember the exact question, but it was around the Berlin Wall and the Berlin blockade. So I really knew that topic really well, and it really helped me in my exams. I actually answered a question that where I could use stuff that I had found for my IA, which I wouldn't have read about if I wasn't studying that, if that makes any sense. The lighting is really bad. I apologize, I'm trying to use the sunlight. So yeah, just to summarize, read the books that have been prescribed, read them throughout the IB, not just the month before exams, and research extra stuff that you can use in your essays because that will put your essay up a grade in comparison to other essays that aren't mentioning it if it is a valid piece of information. So the next area I'm going to be talking about is taking notes, and what I really recommend is writing them in hand, but do not rewrite the book. So that's what I was doing a lot in the IB1, and that is just a complete waste of time. I learned this strategy from my friend, and what I would do is, so here's an example. I took a sticky note and I would summarize both pages onto one sticky note, so that when I was revising and just going through the book, instead of going through a long list of notes that is just a rewritten version of the book, I would go through my book and just look at the sticky notes, and I would see all the important stuff there, and it saves so much time. And it was really useful because I like writing my notes down. I feel like it helps me remember them better. So I still got to write something down, but I wasn't writing as much and it wasn't taking me so much time. And then another useful note-taking skill I learned about a few months before finals was making a timeline of the events and making mind maps. My teacher always recommended to do a timeline and to make mind maps and that they're useful, and I just never really got into them until I was studying for finals and I realized like that is really useful for me. It might not be for everyone, but for me it really helped. I still have all my IB notes, so if I can find them I will put a picture of them here. But basically what I would do is that when I was going through the book, I would write down every date I could find and put them in order, and that really helped me, especially in the Cold War topic, because the book we were using has everything mixed up. It doesn't go in chronological order, so I was having a really hard time trying to understand what came first, so making the timeline really helped me. And then mind maps are really useful as well, because you can just summarize one topic. So let's say find a topic. So I found my notes, and here is an example of a mind map that I made. I titled it as Contribution of Each European Power to the Outbreak of War. And then here I just had 5 countries. I have Germany, Austria-Hungary, Russia, France, and Britain. And then underneath each I just wrote what their contributions to the outbreak of war were. And these really helped me, because if I was writing an essay question where I would need to remember any country's contributions to the outbreak of war, I would just think of my mind map and then think of the country I need to write about, and then try and remember what I wrote in the mind map. So I found them really useful, but they might not be for everybody, but it's just about finding what works for you. But I recommend these. So the next topic I'm going to be talking about is the tests themselves. So you have paper 1 and paper 2 if you're in SL, and paper 3 if you're in HL. And you're gonna want to ace those exams if you're hoping for a high grade. And you have to practice the exams. If you practice the exams a few times and learn the strategies of how to do them and how to manage your time, you're going to do much better than if you do the exam for the first time during finals. For paper 1, I don't think you need to know as much details as in paper 2 and paper 3. You just really need to make sure you know what you're talking about and you know what the sources are talking about. Paper 2, I think, is the hardest paper. You need to write 2 essays in 1 hour and 30 minutes, and you need to talk about a lot of stuff. And for that, you just really need to know a lot, and you need to be ready to answer any question from your topic. And here, if you research additional information that you can put into your essays, they will most likely bump up your grade, because you know more than someone else who has studied the topic just based on the textbook. So it will look like a better essay. Paper 3 is like paper 2, but you have 5 extra minutes per essay, and that is really useful. You really have time to fully plan out your essay. So use that 5 minutes well. Yeah. And something I also recommend is to read the specimen papers, because it says there what it requires per answer, so you can really learn from what they are looking for in each paper. The next tip of advice I'm going to be talking about is you need to learn how to analyze history. So what my problem was for a long time was that I was writing just a chronological recount of the event that was in the question. And if a question is asking you to analyze a certain event, you're not supposed to just explain in order what happened. You need to look at different aspects of the event. So you could look at political and social and economic factors. You can look at foreign policy, all those kinds of aspects. And then you need to kind of connect them to each other and remember to answer the question. And then also what helped me to get out of the writing chronological essays was always thinking of 2 arguments to the event, to the question, So I would have my main argument, but then in the end, I would look at a different point that would kind of contradict my argument, but then I would kind of counter-argue the counter-argument, if that makes sense, and then kind of have a conclusion. This one is really hard to give advice on because I'm still not sure if I know what analyzing means, but if you can take anything from this is that do not just give a chronological recount unless the question is really asking for a chronological recount, which I don't think they do in IB history. So yeah, just really learn to analyze, and this is where you'll really need the help of your teacher if you're not sure if you're actually analyzing. And then last but definitely not least, I'm going to be talking about historiography, and it really is important to include historiography in your paper 2 and paper 3 essays. My teacher always would say that a higher grade essay does require historiography, and that can be the separating point of your grade. And I also find historiography really useful to back up my arguments and to also form an argument in the first place. And what I did, actually, I had a list of historiography and I would have it per topic, and I would have at least one per topic. I had some topics where I had like 10 historians saying something, but I tried to get at least one, and if I had 2 like contradicting ones, that was even better. And if you don't remember the historian on the exam, you can just kind of write like, some historians have argued, blah blah blah. That's actually what I did in my paper 2 exam, and I got a 7 on that one, so I guess it was okay. I forgot a historian's name, but I knew exactly what he had said, so I just wrote that, but like, I was just kind of like, it has been argued by historians that blah blah blah. It is really important to have historiography. My essays went from a 4 to 5, 6 during my IB years from just adding historiography in. Using historiography is also really good to help you analyze the question better. So these were my 5 main advices on how to get a better grade and even a 7 in IB history. I really hope this helped you and that you get at least something new out of this that will help you get through your history in the IB. And if you have any questions about IB history or the IB, I can make a second part to this if you would like. Just comment down below what you would like more advice on, and if I have any tips to give out, then I will be more than happy to make a video on that. Or if you're not an IB student but you would like any studying related videos, I'm more than happy to do that because I'm a total nerd and I love school, so I like making videos around that. But yeah, if this video helped you in any way, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel for more videos. I'm going back to uni this weekend, so expect some uni related videos. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!